Fighters. Tonight, we welcome a woman whose life is a living testament of what God can build from the ashes of heartbreak. A woman who walked through the valley of grief, yet emerged carrying a devotional that now lights the path for others. A woman who turned her private prayers into public healing. Dr. Glenda Shepard is not an author. She is an instrument, a vessel, a guide for women seeking restoration, renewal, and a deeper walk with God. Her devotional, 40 Days Closer to Him, is more than a book. It is a spiritual blueprint, a wellness compass, and a love letter to every woman who has ever whispered, Lord, help me breathe again. Born from the sacred space between loss and divine encounter, her work blends faith, whole body wellness, intentional movement, and the quiet power of daily communion with God. She teaches us that healing is not just a moment, it is a rhythm, a discipline, and a surrender. So tonight, we honor her journey, we honor her resilience, and we honor the God who carried her through the storm and then told her, now go strengthen your sisters. Dr. Shepard, it is a privilege to have you here. Welcome to Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM.
Oh my goodness, Miss Ty. thank you, and thank you. What a beautiful introduction. I am honored and just full of love and joy and grace to be here. Thank you.
It is our pleasure. We thank you. So, you are joining us to feed our soul through 40 days closer to Him. So, with that being
Yes.
said, in your own words, please share with the listeners who Dr. Glenda Shepard is as an individual growing daily.
Okay. Well, Dr. Glenda, I just have to start with my humble childhood, which was started in the South. And I grew up as a young girl, overweight and not really liking me. And God was with me all those years that I was in that overweight body and not liking that person. There's nothing like not liking yourself,
Mhm.
especially during those young years. And I can tell you the transformation that I've gained over the years has all been purposed. I stand today because of God.
Mm.
I had to overcome that unlikeness of myself, and I had to learn how do you live and eat without gaining extra weight. Growing up in the South, my mother was a Southern cook to the T. And if you've ever had Southern food,
Yes,
it's just tasteful.
yes.
And you do tend to overeat. So I was an overeater on this bad food. And as a result, I was overweight. And now, well, I have to back up because after graduating from high school, I was just on a quest to understand the human body. I
Mm.
wanted to connect the dots. How do you live healthy and eat and not gain extra weight? It just it's just bombarded my mind with how do you do this?
Mhm.
And I had to learn how to properly eat. What are the right nutrients for my body, the components for carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and how do you blend them together? I had to learn that. And I became a personal trainer first before I went into nursing. And then I went on a quest of doing both nursing and personal training, helping people to move and to exercise because that just changed my life.
Mhm.
Nursing, not so much because I did not agree with just telling people how to take a prescription
Mhm.
without helping them to understand how to change their life habits.
Good stuff.
So I just continue to be on this quest, and I've been on it for 40 years. And now I can stand today as Dr. Glenda after 5 degrees and um, and going through all the ups and downs that I went through personally to get to the point of understanding nutrition. Nutrition is not the enemy. We have to have food. It is to sustain the body, but it's proportioning it correctly. And also moving the body intentionally. And then also you have to have that recovery, the rest. I kind of jabbed at you earlier
You
before we
did.
started recording because it's crucial.
Yes.
The only time the body cleans out the brain is when we sleep. And so there's a lot that goes on with sleep that doesn't happen when we are awake. Sleep is vital. It is so essential to overall well-being. So skipping out on sleep is not cool. It's going to get you at some point. So please get your rest. But Dr. Glenda right now is on a mission. God put in my heart to touch the woman. He said to me, if you touch the woman, she'll touch her house. And
Mm,
that is so true. She'll touch her family. She'll touch the rest of the people that are in her environment. So my heartbeat is to help women. I'm 64. I'll be 65 in August. And after the age of about 40 or 50, the woman's body starts to change.
oh, yes.
And I remember my mom used to call it the change. You're going through the change. I'm going through the change. And she was talking about menopause,
Mm, absolutely.
but she didn't know the term. So when we go through menopause, oh my goodness, there is a huge change. And for a lot of women, the extra weight, the brain fog, the depression, the I don't think I'm ever going to take this weight off, it just becomes so embedded in that woman's brain that it starts to pull her down. She's
Mm,
not becoming the woman of God that he's created her to be because she's in this body, she's trapped in this body that she thinks she cannot change. I want to change that mindset because menopause does not mean that we are going to become more less forceful. We should become more forceful.
mm,
It's a time of change. However, we should embrace the change. We need to replace the hormonal change that is happening so that body can continue to thrive. And I'm a testament because I felt it. And I said, okay, this is what they're talking about. This is the change. And I saw the belly fat starting to come on my own body. And I'm a bodybuilder. So I'm exercising. I'm doing the cardio. I'm doing all of it. But it's the hormonal change that is happening that we women have to sit down and say, okay, what do I need to do? Because I'm doing the things, or maybe if you're not doing the things, you need to do the things. But if you are doing the things, you need to understand the power of hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. We
mm.
need testosterone. We girls need testosterone.
That's good stuff. And I think that's
Yes,
it's another conversation that women
that's
will
another
have to do.
conversation.
Another conversation I don't think women will actually understand. So that means I think that leads into you're going to be coming back on to have a conversation about the things that women may not even believe that that's a need and
Beautiful.
how the two actually merge together, the estrogen and
Absolutely.
testosterone. And
Absolutely.
you being a bodybuilder and
Yes.
personal trainer and things of that sort are additional in
Yes.
addition to your journal that can help women understand their body and needs even more.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we're going to kind of go backwards this evening and
Okay.
before we get into your book and things of that sort, and we want to talk about grief a little bit because
Mm,
within what you're speaking about, grief also can cause weight gain. And I tell people all the time that allow
yes.
yourself to grieve though. You don't be
Yes.
unapologetic. Definitely be unapologetic about your grieving because everyone grieves different. And so
Correct.
I ask you, when you look back at the woman you were before your husband's passing, who do you see and who, well, you already basically told us who you are now, but through
Mhm,
that grieving process, what has that been
mhm.
like for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Grief is different for every person, as you just said. And it's not something to be ashamed of because it
Sure.
just says how much we love that person. But prior to my husband's passing, we had a beautiful family, two daughters, and he had a son prior to our marriage. So we had three children. And we were just the typical go to church on Sundays and mentoring our girls and instilling in them the values of being a good person and getting their education. And we walked that talk as well. He was a school administrator, and I was in nursing and getting ready to go back for my nurse practitioner. We were always in the forefront of knowledge and seeking more knowledge and just trying to be the best individuals possible and also kingdom builders. We instill that in our girls. And when his cancer diagnosis came up, it was just out the blue sky. I was just like, what?
Hmm.
What? I just could not believe it. And I didn't think it was going to be, I didn't think that the ending was going to be as it was. I just thought that it was going to be something that we could just resolve with some chemotherapy and things would be fine. Because I was smack dab in the midst of my nurse practitioner degree. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to come out of school because I need to be here for my husband. And he says, I'm not going to have that. I will deal with this. You finish, you're almost done, and then we can talk about where we are. So I didn't quit school. I just went ahead. I continued I think I was like 6 months into the end of of that program. But I can tell you it was really it was like you pray and you believe, but at the same time, with my clinical eyes, I'm seeing things that I didn't want to see.
Hmm.
So I was just doing the back and forth. Okay, I'm standing firm in faith and he's going to be healed. But clinically, I'm seeing that this is not going in that direction.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know if I've answered your question, but I just want to
Yes.
say this. It was a 3-year battle for him. And at the very end of his battle, I took a leave of absence from work because that was the time when he was really sick and I could see it. And I just knew, this is not going to be the answers of the prayer that I'm seeking. And so for the last 30 days, I devoted my time to him. He had family to come and help, and he died at home peacefully, which is what he wanted. And it just, from that day, my life was changed forever. And I think anyone who has lost a loved one will say, you really don't even feel yourself anymore.
Mhm.
You're just in a state of numbness. And if it wasn't for my two daughters, I needed to be their strong pillar of strength. If it wasn't for them, I likely could have just gotten sunk into that valley that I felt myself in for that entire next year. It was just darkness and it was just gloom.
Mm.
And that's when God started to drop this book into my vision. And he started to drop these scriptures to help lift me. And I started writing, and I did not see myself as a writer, but it was God that just deposited the scriptures and the 6 weeks and how he wanted it to be laid out. And he wrote it for women, and he wrote it so that it could not just be a spiritual uplift, but he also wanted women to have a wellness uplift. He wanted me to convey that message. We have one body, and
Mhm.
it is to carry us while we're here walking this earthly life. It is subject to destruction. And we are we are responsible for taking care of our one body. And it's not, if you become if you get into the habit of doing these things on a consistent basis, it just becomes what you do.
Yeah.
It becomes how you live. It becomes how you roll. And so I tell women, don't try to make changes, big changes drastically.
Hmm.
Take it one day, take it one meal at a time. Change one of your meals to a healthy meal. Keep with that for a week and then change to a second meal. And so in the book, I really have laid it out so if you follow it
Yes.
as it's written, at the end of the 40 days, you're going to look back and you might not recognize yourself. You might say, wow, yeah, I did lose a little weight, but I'm stronger. I am stronger walking with the Lord. I can go through circumstances and they don't sway me. I can stand firm in the midst of my battles because I know who I am
Hmm.
and I am closer to Him. I am stronger physically and spiritually.
I love that. And you're right. It's the small wins that count so much that we have
Mhm.
to understand just to give yourself a high five and be your biggest cheerleader in all the things that
Yes,
you do and start there.
yes.
So tell us what part of the devotional was the hardest part to write and why?
I think the hardest part to write was the very beginning. It,
Hmm.
and that's week one, new beginnings, releasing the old, because we get complacent and we get comfortable in doing the same and being the same. And some people don't like change. I've always been a change agent. I get bored staying with the same.
Yes.
I seek change. And so, re, the new beginnings, it wasn't the hardest, but I think it was the most meaningful for me to write, to help people to release. And I really wanted it, God wanted it to be upfront, because if you're going to change, you have to change.
Hmm.
You can't keep doing the same things and expect something new. That's not going to happen. And we think that. We think that.
We
I've worked
do.
with women for years and they come and they want to lose weight. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's put together a plan. But they want to keep eating this and they want to keep doing this or not doing this. And I'm like, well, wait. If we're going to try to make a change, we have to do new things.
Oh, yes.
Are you willing to do new things? So the very first week for me, it's the most impactful because if you don't catch it in that first week, the weeks after, you're not going to have as good of an outcome as you could because you really have to release the old habits that are not serving you,
I love
period.
that. I love that. Now, but you
Mhm.
also teach about healing is both spiritual and physical, right? So when did you realize that the two were inseparable?
I could say that when I was in my valley, I realized that I was really in a dark place. And I, yes, I never lost my faith.
Hmm.
I never lost my faith. But we can be in the valley and still be full of faith, still have our spiritual, still be connected to God. And it's okay. I tell women, it's okay.
Yes.
It's not coming out. It's not resolving. It's not overcoming. That is when it becomes more of a negative. And maybe you need some counseling.
Hmm.
For me, I knew that I was going through a spiritual downward spiral experience, and I knew I could put my finger on exactly what it was. It was the loss of my husband. So if
Oh,
you can identify what's pulling you down, that is like 90% of it. And I just knew that it was going to take me time. And I just said to myself, it's okay for you to feel how you feel
oh yeah.
because you were married for 21 beautiful years. This was unexpected. And People ask me, did you ever get mad at God? Did you get mad at God? I didn't get mad at God, but I did ask God. And it was some time later when I had kind of pulled myself together and I could ask him this question. I said, Lord, I just need to know why.
Hmm.
I said, I just need to know why. And he said to me, Miss Ty, and I'll never forget this. He said to me, He's with me and he's good.
Wow.
And that set me free because it said to me, he didn't leave you because of another woman. He didn't leave you because you guys couldn't, couldn't live together. He left you because he's with me.
Right.
How awesome is that? How awesome is that?
Amazing.
He's with God. God needed him. He's with God.
He
And
took
although he
back
was
what
only
belonged to him.
Yes, and although he was only 52, and I know he wasn't ready to go,
Sure.
but there's a time to be born and there's a time when we have to go.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, his lifespan was such, for
Yes.
whatever reason. Yes.
Yes. And I
So
tell people all the time, we have an expiration. Everybody has an expiration date.
everybody. Yes. Yes.
Wow. So
hmm
what daily habit changed your life the most, especially during your 40-day journey?
Spending the 40 days with God.
Okay.
Just going deeper, growing closer. That there is no limit to how close we can grow to God. There is no deepness. It's infinite.
Hmm.
But we sometimes will kind of do a surface with God. We should be going deeper every day, reading scripture, trying to understand, praying, journaling, sitting silently in peace, meditation, allowing Him to minister to us. Sometimes we talk too much, so just be quiet and listen. You're laughing.
I love that because it's so true.
It's so true. It's so true. So for 40 days, I was just in his presence because I needed him so bad. And I think when we go through hard times, that's when we really need him, right? But we need him all the time. And
Yeah,
we should be seeking him just as hard all the time,
all the
all
time.
the time, all the time, all
Yes.
the time.
That's
Yes.
great. Now, you
Mhm.
also touch on intentional movement, which actually was one of my favorite because I intentionality is so
Oh,
huge. It's something I truly believe in. When you're intentional, you can
yes.
breathe better, you can do better, you'll be
Yes.
more
Yes.
accountable, have more
Yes.
situational awareness with
Yes.
yourself and with others. So, how does intentional movement become a form of worship?
Yes, yes. We just had Easter service Sunday, and
Mhm.
at my church they did a beautiful illustration of Jesus carrying the cross and being with the people. And then they had the dance team to do their thing, and I was just sitting and watching and how they were moving to the songs and jumping and swaying their bodies. And I thought, wow, look at that. That's movement. That's movement. It's not weightlifting, it's not running, it's not doing the treadmill. But it's movement, and they're moving to a worship song, and and even without the music, if you took the music away, you could still feel that they were worshiping God just by their movement, raising their hands and expanding their hands and just the movement by itself. You would know it was worship music. It was worshiping. When I talk about intentional movement, there's that, and then there's the intentional movement when we are exercising for the human body to strengthen it. And intentional movement is when you know today it's Monday. I'm
Mhm.
going to do this. Tuesday, I'm doing this. Wednesday, this. Thursday, this. Friday, this. Boom, boom, boom. You have a plan for your week for intentional movement. Because, Miss Tide, it's this. If you don't make a plan,
Mhm.
you're likely not going to do it. You're going to allow excuses. Oh, I worked too late. Oh, I'm too tired, blah, blah, blah. So I tell all of my clients, if you go to the gym, you walk in there with a plan. You know what you're going to do. You do it and you leave. You're not in there to socialize. You go in and you do what you need to do, or you have a home gym. You know what you're going to do on a weekly basis. And that's called progressive exercise as well. I'm not into allowing people just to do the same old because the body is really smart. It will it will just kind of, okay, you've done 10 reps of the bicep curl, no big deal anymore. But we need to continue to stress the body in such a way that it continues to grow. It continues to strengthen. And there's a science behind it. So in the book, I personally have exercises that I did.
Mhm.
There's photos in
Yep.
the book. I have a video that they can also use as a warm up and or cool down. And the 6 weeks of exercise is a progressive exercise plan. So week one, they're doing this. Week two, they're adding this. Week three, it continues to build and build and build. So by the end of their 6th week, if they've been moving every week as they should, they're stronger and they can do more. And they're going to be challenged to do more because that's just how you want to continue to progress with your exercise.
And I love that. And so that boils down to having that structure,
Mhm.
right?
Yep, having
And then,
structure.
so with that being said, because you talked about how women, we have to make time, right? So how can
Yes,
women create sacred space in the middle
yes,
of a
good
busy
question.
and demanding life?
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I hear this a lot. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I work 4 10-hour days, which is pretty long. For me, if I need to carve out morning time. So my clock goes off at 5:20 a.m. and I'm up. I have a home gym, also have a gym membership, and then I have a personal trainer. I meet with him twice a week. I met with him this morning. That's why I'm walking funny because I push harder when I'm with him, and that's my intent. So I sit down with a woman when we are creating her exercise plan, look at her life structure because it needs to be realistic and it needs to fit her life. Otherwise, she's not going to do it. I try to encourage morning time so nothing interferes. If you have to go to bed early to get up early, do that. But that's usually the best time. In the evening, you're likely going to be spent. I know I am. I don't, I can go and do cardio, but to lift is not likely going to happen.
Mm,
So to make it realistic and starting with 3 days a week would be ideal if you're not doing anything. You don't have to start with 5 days, start with three. So it everyone's different and each scenario is different. So it just
sure.
depends upon the woman and her time frame, what she has at home. And if she's still raising kids, that's going to put in another factor of difficulty, right? So um, again, I would encourage morning time just to get it done. And it also helps to wake you and charge you for your day. Those endorphins are powerful
Oh, yeah.
and they're released when we exercise. And it just gives me that boost that I need to start my day. I absolutely love it.
And I love that. Now, so what would your message be to other women, like when they say that a woman who feels like she is barely holding herself together?
Mhm.
I mean, that's a
That's
different story other than, you're busy. So what do you
right.
think? Somebody that's barely holding themselves together.
Right. That's my ideal woman. That's my
Mm,
ideal woman. Because for women, and I've been guilty of this myself, we can take care of everyone, but we leave the scraps for us, right?
yes.
We
Yes.
need to put us first. And so I want to empower that woman. Self-care is first. It's not selfish. If you really want to take care of your family, you're going to take care of you first. And
Sure.
I know how much women love their family, they love their kids, their husband, and all the other people. But we have to take care of self first. And that is doing what feels good for us, what we need to do. So I typically will sit down with a woman and again look at her life and try to structure it because sometimes she's doing too many things that maybe she needs to delegate. Maybe she needs to stop doing these things. Maybe she needs to say, no, I don't have time for that. I'm not available for that. Because some women just want to say yes, 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 yes,
Hmm.
and they really don't have the capacity to say yes, 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 yes. But they're thinking, maybe I'm gonna let somebody down. When you become 64, my age, you kind of bypass that. Because I can remember in my 20s and 30s, I used to be a people pleaser, not wanting to disappoint someone. But now, Miss Todd, it's about not disappointing me,
Each.
right? Because
Teach.
no one's
Yes,
going to take
ma'am.
care of you but yourself. No one else is responsible for you but you. Your doctor, your husband, your children, no one. And no one can feel your body but you. So you are your best person to take care of you. And I tell people all the time the body will talk to you, listen to it. If it's telling you, if there's a symptom going on in your body, something has already been manifesting and it's come to really probably a disease state. So if you start to listen to your body early to prevent it to get to that disease state, you are much better off to live better. We want to live a good quality of life. We want to stay strong as we age. That's my motto, aging with strength, physical
Mm,
and
okay.
spiritual. Because as we age, the body is changing. That's just how it happens. Biologically, things are changing. Cells are not turning over as quickly, and the body starts to slow down. That's why we have to do these things to keep that boost. Exercise, good nutrition, proper sleep, not drinking alcohol or smoking, staying around happy people. Oh, oh, that is such a
Hmm.
huge,
Yes, it is.
yeah, yes, yes. Who you hang out with is who you are, and that can manifest in your body.
Absolutely. And so, you know, oftentimes you said a lot of great things, and you may have even answered, said a lot of things to the question I'm going to ask next, but I think is
Okay.
important.
Yeah.
So, but it all sounds good because it's easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
how does someone who's just overwhelmed and spiritually dry and they just
Right.
don't know where to begin? Like they just
Right.
don't know. I mean, you've given all these amazing great tips on
Right.
what they can do, how to do it, but for that woman who is broken spiritually and she's just
Yes.
dried out,
Yes.
how does
Yes.
she know where to
Yes.
begin again?
Right, right, right. So that person, I would say sometimes when we need to turn to a professional for some help.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this on my podcast today. It is not a weakness if you seek out counseling. It's a sign of strength, not a
Mm-hmm.
sign of weakness. And I think a lot of times we think that we don't want people to know, or we're ashamed, or what will they think? But if we have come to that place to where we are clinically depressed, okay, and we are just kind of staying secluded,
Sure.
that is an indication that that person needs professional help. And so I have to separate that from what you and I are talking about
Sure.
because because it could be that that person is really dealing with a clinical state of depression. And that's a whole different way to treat that compared to if you're just having, you're just going through some grief. I shouldn't say some grief, but you're just going through grief because you can pinpoint, as I said earlier, why you're feeling this.
Yeah.
That is so important, Miss Ty. Why am I feeling this? Sit
Mm,
with yourself and ask, why am I feeling down? What is making me feel like this? Get your journal and start writing.
mm,
Start writing. Start writing. Then seek out some sisters, some strong sisters, and yeah, and it's good to have a person that you can turn to say, hey, I need help. I'm trying to battle this, but I need help. Can you pray for me, with me? And that's a good connection as well because God is always there. He's not going to allow us to crumble, but we have to do what we need to do in order to prevent that. Just as I said earlier, I could have just gotten lost in that valley
mhm.
because I can understand how people, because it's when you're feeling so um disconnected, when your heart is broken, it's shattered, and your whole life has just been turned upside down.
Yeah.
I tell people that my ship just got lost, that just took the sail out of my ship,
Titanic.
right? And I just crumbled. But for me, I had to stay strong for those two daughters that were
Mhm.
looking at me as their pillar of strength. So I had to put that fake smile on in front of them. But when I was in closed doors in my shower, that's when I would just let it out. And I had to have that sacred space to where I needed to just let this out, not keep it in. So that's another thing. We try not to allow our emotions to come out. Emotions are powerful.
Yes.
They're leading us, they're guiding us, they're helping us. Acknowledge your emotions. If you're sad, it's okay to be sad. If you're happy, be happy. But
Yes.
but it's okay. And I just want to say that for that woman who is really dry, then that's likely a clinical situation
Mhm.
versus, yeah, likely clinical. So she might need to have some really therapeutic counseling. And sometimes I'm not one to push pharmaceuticals, but there are a place for them. And she might need a boost because the brain chemicals can get really in imbalanced, and she might just need to have a balance of the brain chemicals
Sure, sure. When I tell you what a lot of women can
for
do
a
out
short
there,
time.
first
Yeah.
thing would be to grab this 40 Days Closer to Him, a guidance prior awareness plan by the Dr.
Yes.
Glenda Shepard, DNP. Okay.
Yes.
That's what they can
Yes.
do. Because I tell you,
Yes.
I'm a toughie on myself. So it'll take
Okay.
me, I can read through a book real quick, but I'm also one to go back and read it over and say, there has to be something that I missed, something I need to redo. And I'm like, well, I need some more pages to write in this journal. I need to make some copies for these journals. I need her to do a second part or something. I need some more. This is not enough
Yes.
spaces
Thank
for me to
you.
write. I'm like,
Of
I
course.
write dissertations and she got me these 5 lines for this journal. What am I going to do with that?
I love
Need some more.
that.
I need some
I
extra
love
pages, Dr.
that.
Glenda.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. That's telling me that you're using it as it should be used. Yes, and yes, and yes.
I need some more inserts. I need some more inserts to this. I have to create my own. But so that moves me on to say, what is the greatest lie that women believe about healing, and what is the truth?
Yeah, the greatest lie is that you're not good enough, and the greatest lie is that you'll never be able to do such and such, and the greatest lie is that you don't have what it take, or you're too old, or you're too this, you're too that, because those are the lies that I
Mhm.
used to hear as a young girl, and that's why I didn't like myself. And they are lies. God has made us each to be unique, and we all are gifted, and we all possess the qualities that we should. sometimes we can forget that or not come into the awareness of that until we are a certain age, like for me. Because as a young girl, I was getting those attacks and I didn't know what to do, but God protected me. And God will do that. He's going to protect us. So we just need to know who we are and we need to stay grounded in who we are and walk through the fire when we're going through it, just like those three boys in the lion's den.
Yeah.
They no, that was Daniel in the lion's
Daniel
den.
in the lion's den.
Yes, yes, yes. But the three Hebrew boys that was in the pit of the fire, and they did not have any inkling of the fire on them. That when we're walking through fire, that's how we should be. We're walking through it. We're not going to get caught in it. We're going to walk through it. And when we get to the other side, you're
Mhm.
going to be stronger because you're going to learn a lot. I believe everything we go through, all the valleys and the hills and all the um, emotional turmoils that we go through, everything is a lesson and it helps to grow and strengthen us. We don't see it while we're going through it, but when we're on the other side, we can reflect and say, okay, I understand it. For my husband, I just couldn't understand why am I going through this.
Mhm.
But I'm a palliative care nurse practitioner and I work with people at the end stage of life. And I've always had a heart of passion, always had a heart of compassion, always had a heart of love and joy for people. But when I went through my own, that compassion, that love and joy, it grew bigger.
Wow.
And I said, okay, this has helped me to be even more compassionate toward people. So when I'm counseling with someone who's losing their loved one, I just allow them to take their time because
Yeah.
I can understand where they are and how it feels. When you can know how something feels, it's a
Mhm.
different thing versus I've read about it and I understand it. No, when you can feel it, it's a different thing.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we talk
Yes.
about legacy and calling because in order for us to know where we're going, we have to know where we've been, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about your husband, what part of his love still fuels your purpose today?
Oh my goodness. He is still with me. He is still with me. He's gonna always be with me. Um, he was a very jolly person, very joyful. And when you would ask him, how are you today? I'm blessed. That was always his answer, even when he was going through his cancer. And at the end of it, I'm blessed. He would still say that. And he just instilled in me just that drive to, although he was going through what he was going through, he still had this big smile, still had his head up, still just being the best person that he could be, meeting people. And I still see that in my mind when I'm going through something that, if he was here today, just like I told you when I was in my school and I thought I was going to have to quit to go and to be with him, he says, "Oh, no, you're not. You're going to finish that. And then you can come be with me." But he would just always encourage to go forward, go forward, go forward. And I look at my two daughters now who are very successful. My youngest daughter will be graduating from dental school in June, and the oldest one went back and did a second career in nursing. He was always pushing
Congratulations.
for education. Thank you. Always pushing for education, education. You can never have enough education. He was an educator to his heart. And so that's why I went back after my youngest daughter moved into went to college and I was home alone and I went back and got my doctorate because I said, okay, education, education. I got to get one more degree and this is the highest degree in nursing. So just thinking of him, thinking of him while I was doing that because that's what he would have encouraged me to do.
I love that. And thank you for that share.
Mhm.
So,
Thank
what do you
you.
hope your readers feel on day 40 of the
Oh,
devotional?
yes. On day 40, I hope readers will take a deep breath and exhale. And as they are exhaling, I hope that they will just feel this new sense of who they are. I
Mm,
hope that they will feel closer to God, knowing that they are loved, knowing that they are beautiful, knowing that God has gifted them through with everything that they need to run the race and to finish strong, knowing that when the winds blow and it's getting very turbulent and maybe it's getting cloudy and they can't see, knowing that they're going to stand strong because they know that God has positioned them where they are. He has not left them. And to know that their body feels stronger,
mhm.
feels cleaner, knowing that maybe they've lost a few pounds, so they're feeling sexier. Get the sexy back, right?
Yes, yes,
And so because that outward appearance really does a lot to the inward soul. It truly does. Not saying that my big sisters are not beautiful because they are,
sure.
but it's the health hazard that I look at because I was there myself. And if I had continued to eat and to grow bigger, I would not be sitting here talking with you today. I
Mm.
can tell you that.
Well, I'm happy
Yes.
that you're sitting here talking with me today. So that would lead me to ask you, what has been the most unexpected testimony you've received from someone reading your
The most unexpected, one person, she got the book and she hadn't she's still reading it, not even finished, but reading the introduction, my intro letter and reading part of the first part of the book, she said she went, got her treadmill, put the book on her treadmill, and started walking on her treadmill, something that
journal?
she has not done in a long time. She's that inspired just by reading
Love
the
that.
intro letter and the first few chapters, not even the whole chapter, but just a little bit of the book.
Mhm.
And so I thought that that was really encouraging. So that has been probably the most something that surprised me that I'm like, wow, that quick. Okay, good. This is going to be good. Because I want women to know that this book is not just to read, it's to do.
Yes, absolutely. And you
It's
definitely
to
will
do.
do.
It's to do. It's a workbook, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
journal, it's a guide. And on page 47, it really kind of gets a little dicey, but if you go through it, it will help you to calculate what your caloric needs for your body is, because everybody's body is different. Like my body and your body, 1,500 calories would be different for both of us because the macronutrients, the proportions of the macronutrients would be different, if that makes any sense to you.
Yes, makes perfect sense because in
Okay.
that you gave the steps on calculating your
Uh-huh.
BMR and then,
Hmm.
converting your body weight and all of that great stuff. And then
All that great
how
stuff.
to, you gave great examples on if you're 150 pounds plus
Yes.
2.2 pounds equals 68.2 kg, then how to convert that weight and things of
Yeah.
that sort. So you gave a lot of good stuff in there on food
Yes.
matters. That's under that section there. And it just was good. And so
Yes.
yeah, your caloric needs. You did some good stuff. I mean, it's deep. You talk about you not being a writer. Well, fool me and fool whoever else is going to read it because Leave It the Beaver, who would have thunk it? Because it's definitely there. Did a
And
great
then one
job. Great job.
Thank you. And then one person on page 24, the pantry overhaul, it was one of my male readers to read it. And he said, the big PO, pantry overhaul, that just stuck with him. He
Yeah.
said, that is so powerful. He says, because people need to do the big PO. I said, yeah, you need to clean out your pantry because if
Yeah.
you're going to make a change, you can't have all the old stuff in there because it's too easy to grab it. So, and then the four P's. And so, yeah. I've had some really good comments from people about what's sticking with them that was surprising. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all
And the
right.
4 Ps are definitely what people
The-
really need to know about: the plan, the purchase, preparing, and packing. And
Correct.
also down that line with those bullet points about saving some money, which we all need to talk about saving, and your
Yes.
lifespan and reducing waste, because we waste
Yes.
so much.
Oh my
We
goodness, girl.
waste so much.
Yes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And if we just
Yes.
look at that, we don't need all of the stuff that we have. Moderation
No.
is definitely key. You can only get what you need out of
Right.
it, and what you
Right.
consume. So you gave some, like I said, you gave some amazing pointers in here,
Oh, thank
and
you.
preparing for success and getting closer to him, and
Yes.
just your 9 rules of eating, of healthy eating. I mean, there's just so many great things. So many great things. That's why
Yes.
I told you, need some more inserts. Not enough. We need a part two. Quick.
Okay. Okay.
So, what do you believe God is calling you to do next?
Ooh.
Besides the second book, I'm going to put it out there.
Well, honestly, God is calling me to go into a women's practice. I've been working in healthcare for 40 years
Mhm.
and I want to retire and start full time in helping women to live healthy and to grow strong as they age, physically and spiritually. So, to open a women's health practice, coaching practice, that is my next venture, and start speaking more and just really being. God told me that I was a Joshua years ago. So just being the Joshua that He's called me to be, strong and courageous,
Mhm.
going out and not caring what people will say, because that has held me back a long time this time. Well, what if they don't like what I'm saying? Well, what if this? What is that? No, let that go because
Yes,
I've been called to say this and to teach this, and this is going to help you. So there you go.
there you go.
So, yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that. So now here's a speed round. We're going to go through these quick.
Okay.
So, one word that describes your relationship with God today,
Grounded.
a scripture that carried you through your hardest nights,
Joshua 1:9.
a wellness habit you refuse to skip,
Sleep.
a book besides your own that changed your life.
Mm. Boy. We might have to come back to that.
Okay, let's go to a song that instantly lifts your spirit.
Um, Boy, there's a lot of them. I would say gravity.
Love that. One
Mhm.
thing every woman should start doing today.
Prioritizing self.
I love that. Now, do you want to go back to your book?
So I've read so many great books. I think maybe the one that has really helped me that was a quick read was Who Moved My Cheese?
Oh, I love that.
You remember that little book?
Yes. Who moved my cheese? And I actually have
Uh-huh.
right here in my
Oh no, you do
I do. I have tons of books. Like I have a whole bookshelf, but Who Moved My Cheese? I love that book. Yes, I do. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that is a phenomenal book. Phenomenal
Yes.
book. People do not understand it,
Phenomenal.
and it's so,
Yes.
like you said, it is an easy read.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is
Quick
easy.
and easy.
I
Yes,
mean,
but
Spencer,
mhm.
was it Spencer Johnson, I believe.
Yes.
The
Yes,
Who
I
Moved My
believe
Cheese.
so.
Oh my God,
Yes.
amazing, amazing, good #1 bookseller, and I everybody needs to
Yes.
read it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
In addition to 40 Days Closer to Him, Guide
Yes.
Inspired
Amen.
Wellness Plan by Dr. Glenda Shepard. You have to get
Yes.
that as well. So those two
Yes.
together, as God
Yes.
is moving your cheese, you're going to get 40
Yes.
days closer to Him.
Yes. 40
Yes,
days.
yes,
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now, anything else you want to impart on the listeners before we close out?
Um, I just want women to know that it's not that they're not too old and it's not too late. My focus is women over the age of 50 because I feel that that woman is has just checking out. She's just at the point of just like you said, breaking. And I want to encourage her not to give up. It's not too late and you're not too old. Contact me, my information. I think you will share that with the audience, with the
Yes.
listeners. And I would just love to have a conversation.
And absolutely. And here at Hindsight, we are honored to be the first to have this
Yes,
conversation with you for 40 days closer
yes,
to Him, a God
yes.
inspired wellness plan. So that is definitely an honor because of the fabulous work that you put into and time that you put
Thank
into this
you.
amazing guide. So, Dr. Shepard, your voice, your vulnerability,
Yes,
and your
yes,
victory reminds us that
yes,
God still heals, God still
yeah,
restores, and God
yeah.
still breathes purpose into broken places. Your
Mm,
devotional is just not a guide. It is a
mhm.
companion for weary, a roadmap for the rebuilding, and a reminder
Yes,
that every and in every valley, God is still writing. So tell
yeah.
everybody, where can they follow you, find this amazing guide, and purchase this great share, and have a book club to talk about it and follow it for their own self?
Yes, yes. So right now the book is available on Amazon and Ingram Spark. And I am looking for book clubs. So if anyone is listening and you are connected to a book club, please reach out to me. And also it will soon be on my website, triumphantstrength.com. But please follow me on social media, Dr. Glenda or Triumphant Strength.
I love that. So thank you again for pouring out your heart, your wisdom, and your testimony tonight. May your
Yeah,
journey continue to touch lives, strengthen
thank you.
women, and draw countless souls closer to Him. You're always welcome here at Hindsight Media Radio 103.5
Oh,
FM,
thank
where there's
you.
always something good to talk about. So we honor you
Yes.
and the light that you carry, Dr. Glenda. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Ty. Love
Yes,
being here. Thank you.
absolutely. Well, good night.
Good night.